our topic tonight, which is about how to raise your vibration so that you are better able to use the intuitive ability that you already have and to increase and become more aware of your intuitive abilities. So welcome to our show tonight. For those of you who are our regular listeners, you know that we have a kind of a method to the beginning of our time together that folks tell us is really helpful to them. We always begin with Samantha's white light meditation, and then Samantha has a crystal of the week that she would like to talk about, and I'd like to talk about a tarot card of the week. So everybody take a deep breath and get settled back as you spend this next hour with us. And Samantha, let's guide us through our meditation, please.
Okay, great. Well, Deb and I are preparing for our Psychic Protection telecourse Tuesday night. I was just revamping all of our handouts on different white light techniques, and I thought I would start trying some of them out on the show during this time. So rather than having you all picture a white light surrounding you, I'm going to try something a little different tonight called the tornado technique.
Ooh, yay.
So what I want you to do is picture yourself standing up, or if you're in a position to do so, go ahead and stand up. And I want you to imagine a beautiful, clear, calming white light swirling around the base of your feet. See it as you're looking down at your feet. See it spinning in a clockwise direction. And I want you to count to 12. And as you're counting up, this white light is spinning around and around and around you in this clockwise direction, and it's pulling up over your entire body. So let's go and pull this white light up over us. 1, 2, it's coming up over your legs. 3, 4, it's spinning around your hips and your stomach. 5, 6, feeling the swirling motion as it really wraps you up in its protective energy. 7, 8, around your shoulders and your throat. 9, 10, around your head and extending about a foot to 2 feet above your head and all around your body. 11, 12. And I want you to see that white light spinning, 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 spinning all around you. And as you breathe deeply, just see it really pulling away from your body any negativities, any worries, fears, or stressors. And see the white light almost like a fan just sucking away any of that negativity and pulling it into its healing energy. And when you can see the white light just completely filling you and surrounding you in its comforting, warm embrace, continue to breathe deeply and push this white light out and see it until it envelops your family members, your friends, your loved ones. See this amazing spinning white light that will not allow any negativity to come near it, spinning and churning around your car, your home, your work, your school, your place of worship, anywhere that is significant to you and that you spend some time. Put this spinning white light around your state, your country, your continent. And as always, if we could just imagine ourselves looking down at the globe and wrapping it in a beautiful, warm, comforting white blanket. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for that.
Do you like that different one?
I do. It was hard for me not to see the cow flying by, but I'm sorry I had to say it. I just had to say it. But once I was with you,
it's a powerful one to
it
really
is.
Push everything out of you that's negative.
It really is. I mean, you're in the middle of a vortex. So what a great metaphor. Thank you for that.
Sure.
Okay. All right. You want to do the crystal? You want me to talk about?
Sure, I'll do the crystal. The crystal I chose for tonight is Shawtucket. And, Deb, I'm having an issue with my computer, so if you could type that in the chat room, I'd appreciate it. It's Shattuckite. It is often a dark, light blue turquoisey color. It's mottled. Usually they're tumbled. I've never seen a piece of Shawtucket raw. Obviously it comes raw, but you'll see them mostly tumbled. They're fairly rare, but you can definitely get one. I have a lovely big piece that sits next to my bed every night. It's right there. It's a very highly spiritual stone that will heighten your vibration. So that's why I picked it, because we're talking about ways to increase your vibration, and Shawtucket is a great stone to do that. It's a wonderful stone for people that are working really hard on their intuitive path and yet nothing's happening. Because what the Shawtucket does is it helps to slowly absolve and absorb any fear you may have, conscious or unconscious, past life or present, to opening your third eye. It really helps you to realize that it is safe for you to see, feel, and know. It brings all of your energies into harmony and alignment. If you have any issues from a past life where you have closed down your metaphysical abilities in this present life, so let's say you think you may have been burned at the stake in a past life, or stoned, or ostracized because of your healing abilities in a past life, and have made an agreement to somehow shut your abilities down out of fear, the Shawtucket will help that. Oftentimes we make contracts in our past life that are vows that are very difficult to break in the present life, such as vows of poverty and celibacy, and oftentimes we take those into this present life without knowing it, and Shawtucket will help us to remove those past life vows. Anyone who is sending negative energy to you, Shawtucket will help to increase your vibration so that it protects you from that. It protects you while you're doing any psychic work, especially any of you paranormal investigators. It helps put up your psychic shield so that you don't bring anything home with you. It ensures that the highest contact is made when you're doing your psychic work. And it really does help aid clear communication so that you're reaching the highest guides. Physically, it can just help bring the body back into alliance. It can help treat tonsillitis, and it helps with blood clotting issues. But basically, it's a spiritual and metaphysical stone. So definitely check out a piece of Shawtucket.
Great. Thank you. What a perfect stone for our discussion tonight.
Yes.
As is the tarot card that is our card for tonight. I love the synchronicity of this work. I just love it. Tonight's tarot card, as you know, we are working our way through the major arcana, and we're almost done through the traditional Waite Rider tarot deck. And tonight the card is Key 19, the Sun, which is all about raising your vibrations and bringing into consciousness that which has been unconscious in our lives. This is a lovely card. It is a card with a young child. We think it's male, but it's hard to tell, riding a horse. He is nude, and he carries in his left hand a bright red banner, and there is a beautiful sun just glowing and smiling behind a wall behind him. And so this really does represent for us the notion that we don't have to hide who we are. His nudity reflects that, and as does the red feather in his hat. It is an indication that he has come a long way on his spiritual journey, because the Fool, the very first card in Tarot, has that same red feather. So he's reached a point, this child has, where he is an initiate of the sun. He is ready to bring great light to the world around him. This key is about happiness and success. It is about achievements in the arts and sciences. And it's about being content and happy with the simple pleasures of life. There are 4 sunflowers along this wall behind him in this picture, and they represent the balance of fire, air, earth, and water, and a reminder to us to be connected to nature and to be connected to that which is simple and brings great light into our lives.
That's wonderful.
Isn't that great?
Is the sun always a positive card for you when it comes up in a reading?
Yes.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, I agree. Even when it is reversed, and there are some setbacks perhaps coming to the querent, there's still hope. This is a great card of hope for me. So, yes, indeed. Yes.
I know we talk about our healing circle, and we ask anybody who has any issues that they would like prayers to be sent out to please join us on our Facebook page.
Oh, yes, thank you.
And I do have a wonderful friend, Jill, who has lost her father yesterday.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and I would just love it if everybody could just say a prayer that she gets through this time with strength and a sense of peace that her father's okay, and that her mother, who is still here after 46 years of marriage, will learn to, go on.
Right.
Such a difficult thing. So, and if you could pray for her father's soul as well, because it's always such an amazing transition that they're making.
Right.
Such a good man. I'd appreciate that.
Yeah, and I have several folks that I need to post in our Facebook page to ask for folks to pray for as well, so I will do that before I go to bed tonight. If you are listening to the show and are calling in and waiting, we are not taking calls at this moment, so thank you for listening and joining us tonight. Okay, so let's talk about raising our vibrations.
Okay.
What does that mean? Let's talk about what that means.
Okay, let's do that, because if any of you read my blog, I blogged about this day before yesterday, I believe, and what got me and Deb thinking about, what got Deb and I thinking about this, is that the most common question we get is, besides meditation,
do I have to?
What can I do to open myself up psychically? And my next answer is always work on raising your vibration. We are all energy, and we vibrate at a certain level. Do you want to say anything more about that?
I have lots to say.
I know you always put that into good words. So if you want to take it,
I love it. I love it. This is the notion of vibration, and the movement that we are, not that we do, but that we are, really is one of those key pivotal places where science and spirituality come together. I just love this notion. Just bear with me with a physics lesson here for a minute. Quantum physics maintains that everything that is vibrates at a given rate. We are all energy. We're back to Einstein. Everything is energy. And if we can consider the notion that everything is moving because of its molecular structure at varying rates, and that we're all energy, then we really are all the same thing. It's just the difference of the rates at which we vibrate. So I and this table where I am sitting, this wooden table, are the same thing. We're the same energy. We're just vibrating at a different rate. This table is vibrating at a rate called maple, and I am vibrating at a rate called human.
And to put that into different terms, the table's vibrating so slowly,
yes,
that it appears solid.
Right, exactly, that it appears solid, as do I. Mm-hmm. Maybe not quite as solid as the table, but some days are worse than others.
I guess it didn't make sense what I said. But
well, it does, in that speed, when we talk about the rate of vibration, does vary tremendously among various entities on this planet. But all of us, humans, non-humans, four-legged people, trees, plants, everything vibrates at a considerably slower rate than do entities across the veil. So,
it's a neat exercise for that. When Deb and I teach our aura reading class, one of the things that we'll do is we'll give everybody a piece of black felt.
Oh, yeah, that's
and
fun.
We'll put a leaf on it. And we'll have everybody kind of zone out their vision, and what will start to happen is you'll start to see a smudgy white light around the leaf. And it's just a wonderful reminder that everything is energy.
Right.
I think it's Carolyn Mace, and I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's Carolyn. No, it's not. Who wrote the Eagle and the Feather, the English psychic? Rosemary Altea.
Yeah.
I believe it was in her book. She talks about when she was opening up her psychic vision, and there was a nasty cockroach or some bug that you're not really a fan of, crawling up a wall in a hotel where she was staying, and she saw the white light around the cockroach.
Oh, wow.
And believe it or not, she had a spiritual moment with this roach, because she said, even that is alive with energy. Even that was created. Even that, like something that we're like, ew, and just, So everything has energy, and everything is vibrating at different levels. And like Deb was just saying, our guides, our angels, our loved ones on the other side, they don't have these clunky, nasty bodies to carry around.
That's right. So their vibrations are so much higher, so much faster than ours are. Another book to throw out there that really does help, I think, with this is Emoto's book, Hidden Messages in Water.
Sure.
Where he is able to stop the vibration of water droplets and look at their crystal form. and the various impacts that various kinds of energy and emotions have on those crystal thought forms. So if you can think of yourself as being just this amazing tuning fork, all of us in the fourth grade, we had that tuning fork thing where we played with tuning forks. And so imagine yourself as a tuning fork where your middle C vibrates differently than E. It's true. That's what makes a piano work, is the rate at which the notes vibrate in a piano when they hit the whatever you call it inside the piano. So think of yourself that way, as that not only are you physically vibrating and always moving, but so is your psyche. Mm-hmm. So are your emotions. So think of it that way, to just kind of lay the groundwork for this notion.
So is your home, your car, and your office.
Oh, you bet. Your pets.
Mm-hmm. And so it's important to make sure that everything is in a harmonic, clean, and clear environment.
Yes. Yeah, because when things can't vibrate if they can't move.
That's right.
And if you so we can get off on a whole thing about keeping your space and yourself clear.
Right, which you won't do. But it is important to think about that. Sometimes I get into people's cars and I just I have a friend who always has at least 6 coffee mugs in her car. And it just drives me insane. I want to hop out and clean them all.
Oh, dear.
Put them in her kitchen.
Oh, dear.
So, yes, everything around us is vibrating at an energy, and we're like little antenna or little octopus, and we're always sensing that and feeling that and being affected by that unless we learn how to raise our vibrations and protect our aura so that we're not being manipulated or brought down or slowed down by others' energies that maybe are vibrating slower.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So people who have a lot of physical illness are going to have a lower vibration just because they're dealing with they're putting out a lot of energy just to stay as healthy as they can.
Right.
People who are depressed all the time, people who have any type of mental or physical fatigue, they'll vibrate very slowly. Those of you who work, I just spoke to a client yesterday. She works 80 to 100 hours a week.
Gosh, that's worse than me and you.
Oh, that's way worse than me. I thought I just can't imagine that. So she's here. She is, her soul, her essence is this light worker, this amazing woman who vibrates at this. I mean, her energy was so beautiful, and yet she's going to be vibrating a little bit slower now because she's working all the time, and she's and her work environment is a little heavy too because of everyone's stressed out working so much. So those things will pull your energy down, and you have to work really hard in this lifetime to rail against that.
Right.
If you're worried about money, that's going to lower your energy, your vibration. All this economic stuff, oh my gosh, that can bring us down, huh?
You bet. And poor relationships.
Yes.
Where you're spatting with someone or are depressed about a relationship, those really do lower your vibration field. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they do.
And you want to get into it, and we'll talk about this more at our telecourse Tuesday night, so I don't want to jump into this, but you want to work at trying to avoid some of those people.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, we'll
talk
about that a lot. One of my
favorite movies, Groundhog's Day, when Bill Murray encounters that insurance salesman. Mm-hmm. Hi, Ned Nickerson here. Do you need insurance? Cross the street. Avoid those people who are always coming at you, trying to pull at you.
Right, and just because they're high energy people doesn't mean their vibrations are high.
Exactly. Well, that was the next thing I was going to say. Those of you who run all day long, and I don't mean on the highway in marathons, I mean who run from one thing to another, never pausing to slow down, your energy is going to be vibrating very slowly, even though you're going a mile a minute.
Right.
Even though you're texting and talking on the cell phone and driving and drinking coffee all at the same time, God forbid, your energy is vibrating very slowly.
Yeah, and somebody in the chat room just asked a question along those lines, and my response was, we're really not necessarily talking about physical energy as so much as we are psychical energy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so you want to work on balance, really. Mm-hmm. We could sum up every one of our shows with that, couldn't we, Deb?
We could. It is all about balance.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. Yeah.
All of you people who are constantly on the phone, Twittering, on Facebook, on your BlackBerry, on your iPhone, going just from one meeting to the next, from one coffee clutch and book club to the next, whatever it is in your life. Not good. You need to slow down. You need to take time for yourself. You need to take time to meditate. That's going to raise your vibration.
Okay, folks, did you hear that? The key to this is, here once again, we're back to meditation.
Yeah.
The key to raising your vibrations is to being still.
Right.
It's about being still. And in that moment, that's when your vibrations can be raised. So let's tell them how we do it.
Okay. Well, I'll get to the physicality of how to do it, but what you said just reminded me that the number one way to raise your vibration is to surrender. To surrender. We have no control over anything in our lives. Literally, nothing. And we have to learn to surrender to that and have faith in that. And if we don't, we're going to vibrate slowly, because then we're going to be obsessed with worry and fear. There's really no reason to worry and fear because you have no control over anything. You don't agree with that, do you, Deb? Nope, you don't. I can tell.
I'm going to ponder it. I'm going to ponder it for a bit. I'm not going to interrupt
you. What do you think you have control over?
Well, blah, blah, blah. Nothing, except that I also believe that I created this life.
Oh, sure. I mean, I'm not saying you don't have control. I think, but what I'm saying is every moment of every day, what we're thinking and feeling is creating what's coming up for us, but ultimately, we don't have control over the major stuff or really the minor stuff. I'll give you an example. Yesterday, my family and I, we had this lovely day. I feel so bad for anyone listening to us in cold weather climates, because wasn't it beautiful, Deb?
Oh, it was gorgeous here.
Almost 70 degrees and sunny, and we were out in the yard all day, and everything was just going great. We were playing kickball, and we were just outside all day, so I didn't feel like cooking dinner. So I said to my husband, let's go out to eat, and then we'll go, and we love to go to this little bookstore in town, and we'll get ice cream. And we were so excited, and we all came in and showered and got prettied up and got in the car, driving to go to this nice restaurant, and all of a sudden, my oldest daughter in the back seat goes, Mommy, I'm going to throw up.
Oh, no.
And I said, oh, crap. And I felt her head, and she was burning up. And we turned around, piled out of the car, got our pretty clothes off.
Oh, shoot.
And got her settled in. And thankfully, everybody, not that it matters so much to you listening, I know, but thankfully she didn't throw up and her fever's gone today. But my point is, we don't have control, and there's no need. Like 5 years ago, I would have gotten mad at that. I would have been like, oh, gosh, sick again. Can my family get a break, please? Oh. Now I'm just like, okay, we get to settle in tonight a little bit earlier than planned and get takeout.
Okay. All right.
Does that make sense?
Yes, I'm with you.
All right.
I'm with you. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, the other thing I was talking about on my blog, and it's been on my mind a lot, you know my friend who's Miss Drama Queen.
Mm-hmm.
She gets angry over everything. And there's no point because she has no control over it. Right?
Yeah.
Like she gets so mad when, for example, kids come to school sick. She has been known to call up the parents of those children and blast them out for sending their kid to school sick. Now, I get that, right? Like, doesn't it bother you when some kids dripping green snot and they're, sitting next to you at church or wherever? It's not proper. You shouldn't do it. But I'm not gonna waste my time, my energy, and my good vibrations getting mad over someone else's laziness that I can't control.
No, and I absolutely agree that you cannot control a single thing that another human being thinks, feels, or does.
Right.
Absolutely.
And so you just kind of have to surrender to that and say, I'm going to put up my good psychic protection and push aside from this snotty-nosed kid and do the best that I can. Not having high expectations of others, I think, is important. I periodically, and I'm sure, Deb, you've already recognized this about me, but I take unannounced 24-hour sabbaticals from people. And I don't answer my email. I don't answer my phone. And Friday was one of those. My kids had a half day, and I just wanted to spend the entire day with my family. And so I didn't look at my email. I didn't look at my phone. I didn't answer my home phone. And this friend must have left 9 messages. Are you mad at me? Where are you? You haven't called back. You haven't answered my text. And I just thought, all that energy she wastes, it breaks my heart. Just let it go.
Right.
And that'll lower your energy. People who come to us and they want to know about the person who broke up with them. That's a wasted energy. That person broke up with you. They're done.
Right.
So that's what I mean about not having control and surrendering.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Oh, just say it. I know you want to just dive in there and disagree with me, so go ahead.
Well, I agree with you that probably in creating our lifetime, we did not pay attention to the minutia because we were too busy creating the path and the life lessons and the interactions that we have with other people around us. But I do think that we came into this lifetime with some sense of idea of how this path was going to go and what we were going to learn in the process.
And that's when and where we have control.
That's right.
Is at that point when we're making our contract.
That's right, and that's all I'm talking about.
Yeah, and I definitely agree with that.
Okay, good.
I just think we try so hard to control uncontrollable situations and people. And I think that's a waste of energy, and that'll zap your good vibrations.
True. We have an excellent question in the chat room, and it is, why should we do this? Why should we raise our vibrations? What's the point in doing this?
Do you want to answer that? Do you want me to say?
Well, I think we both can go into this. The reason that Samantha and I raise our vibrations, one is to try to keep ourselves working in a more psychic and spiritual plane, but specifically if you are interested in tuning and fine-tuning your intuitive abilities and your ability to connect to psychic information, you gotta raise your vibrations, because you've got to be able to meet the beings with whom you are communicating, because they're vibrating at such a higher rate. Your fan analogy is a wonderful one. Is that where you might want to go with that?
Yeah, but first, before I forget, because I jump from thoughts in my head, my daughter has this really neat book where one page, it'll just look like brown. It'll look like this big brown dot. And then you turn the page, and it's a Renoir painting. And what it does is it takes you from a focus of one minutia point of that painting, and then you turn the page and you get the panoramic view. And when you look at the one minute point of a Renoir, it's ugly. It's a brown dot. But when you pull back and you look at the panoramic view, it's a Renoir. It's amazing. So I think that's why it's important to raise our vibrations, because if we don't, we get stuck in the minutia of our life. I gained 5 pounds over the holiday. I owe so much on my credit card bill. This boy hasn't called me back. I hate my job. None of that matters. None of that matters. What really matters is, are you working your soul purpose? Are you learning your life lessons? Are you making a difference in this world? I have a habit. I've shared this on the radio show before. I have a quirky, odd habit, but I think everyone should adopt it or consider it. I read obituaries. You can learn so much about life by reading people's obituaries, and if anyone lives in my town, go to Wednesday's obituaries. There were 2 in there that would knock your socks off about these 2 gentlemen who made such a difference in the world. One of the men is one of the inventors or creators, I don't know what you call it, the EKG machine.
Gosh, and he lives in our town?
He retired in Wilmington about 20 years ago.
How about that?
And he ended up being a Volunteer of the Year 3 years in a row. He worked for the Wilmington Health Access Teen Center for years. He did so much.
How wonderful.
The other gentleman earned a Purple Heart in World War II, was the only surviving member of his platoon, and still went back for another tour after he got the Purple Heart, and returned home to Wilmington, started the Committee of 100, and really just built downtown. Did so many amazing things. And just, it's so neat to read these things and go, that's what matters. This person made an impact on this life, not this other, did I gain weight? Do my car's tires need air? Does my neighbor have a better car than I do? With the fan example, I always say that a lot of people, if you just picture a fan spinning, most people go through life with their fan on the slowest vibration. It's barely spinning. The fan blades are just ticking around. When you can really work on raising your vibrations through some attitude adjustments that we'll talk about in more detail in a moment after our break coming up. You raise that vibration, you raise that fan rate to the point where it's spinning very fast. But it's important to remember that your guides and your loved ones, they spin so fast that you can't even see those blades anymore. And so if you want to make that connection, if you want to take your intuition to the next level, you've got to learn to raise yours. And you've got to respect the fact that your guides and loved ones have to learn to lower theirs. Both are difficult, so patience is always required. But that's one of the main reasons, is that I think it gives your life meaning. I think it helps pull you out of the mundane of your life. It helps for you to see the big picture of your life. And the added bonus is it helps you get in contact with your angels and guides.
Right.
But, Deb, we are at the halfway point.
Oh, we are.
Tell
Gosh.
people who we are.
Okay, we are the Psychic Teachers. I'm Deb Bowen.
And I'm Samantha Fay.
And we can be reached in many different ways. As you know, if you're listening to this, you can, of course, find us here on Blog Talk Radio, where you can also download archived episodes of our show. You can also download episodes of our former shows from iTunes. Our website is www.psychicteachers.com, and from there you can get to our individual websites and blogs. We're also on Facebook. Psychic Teachers is one word, no space between that, so you can find us on Facebook and like us on Facebook. Tell them about our telecourse coming up, Samantha.
Tuesday night we are offering a telecourse from 8:30 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You just can join us right from the comfort of your home. All you have to do is call a number that we will send you Monday evening. We have a lot of really cool handouts that we will send you prior to the class as well. We are going to be discussing what is psychic protection. There's several handouts on different methods of psychic protection. There's a handout on recognizing the patterns of relationships in your life so that you can avoid attracting possible energy vampires. We also are going to be teaching you in depth and in detail how to do a complete smudging and clearing on your home and on your person. What else are we going to do? Is that everything?
It is. If you just let me remind folks, just go to Samantha's website is the easiest way to do this, and I'm going to put it in the chat room. It's www.thecrystalchick.com, and on Samantha's website, you can click on the PayPal button and register for the course. It's only $25. It's an hour and a half with us as we teach and give you an opportunity to talk and ask questions. And we
might as well face it, Deb. We always go over.
Yeah, we do, just so you'll know.
Because we give time for your questions at the end, too.
Right, exactly. So we would love to have you join us Tuesday night. Just pop into PayPal and register, and we'll email you the handouts and be delighted to have you join us with that.
Great.
Okay.
All right, so back to, can I also say, all of your comments that you all are leaving on iTunes are just so lovely, and I want you all to know that Deb and I do read them, and we really do appreciate them.
We are so grateful to you folks.
Not only do you guys say lovely things about us in the show, and it just is so nice, because to do a radio show is really a weird experience. You're just kind of talking into this thing, and and to hear from you guys is so exciting, because it's like, oh, someone's listening.
It really is, and
we feel like Sally Field.
we are honored that you're listening to us and that you're downloading us. We do get reports on how many of you there are, and every week when I open up those reports, I say, good golly, what a gift it is to be so connected to so many wonderful people. So bless you all.
And if you do enjoy the show and you haven't done so, we would really appreciate if you could leave a comment on iTunes, because it just increases the likelihood that people will find us.
Right.
And one of the things we most often get is, Dear Deb and Samantha, I don't know how I found you on iTunes, but I'm so glad I did. And I love to hear that, because I always think it's possibly your guides leading us to a show to help you feel, that you're on your path.
Right, exactly. Okay, so let's move into, in our time that we have left. Oh, wait, one other quick thing. Again, folks, we're not taking calls tonight. We have so much to talk about, so just so you'll know that that's not what we're doing tonight.
But if you have a question, put it in the chat room and we will answer it.
Yeah, do, and also know that if we don't answer immediately something that you've put in the chat room, bear with us. There is a method to our madness here. We're getting to that topic, so hang in there with us. Okay.
One of the most dreaded vibration suckers that I hate are passive-aggressive people. Do you agree that they will steal your good vibrations quicker than anyone?
If you let them, you betcha.
If you let them, that's good answer.
They certainly will. Mm-hmm. So don't let folks do that to you. And again, if you join us on our telecourse, we'll tell you a whole lot of tricks about how to keep those folks out of your energy field. So we really will.
I want to talk physically about some things that you can do to lower your vibration.
Raise your vibrations.
No, I mean lower. Because what I was going to say is, if you're eating fast food constantly,
okay.
If you're drinking alcohol regularly, if you're, sucking down Coca-Colas all the time, if you're overdoing it on your prescription drugs or anything else, not good. It lowers your vibration.
Well, yes.
And it goes back to balance. I don't want to say you've got to become a vegan and eat raw food. That's not true either.
Somebody asked in the chat room a few minutes ago about eating meat. And, yes, really, that lowers your vibration. It does.
But I find it lovely to lower your vibration sometimes with meat. After, for example, when we used to do our reading days, do you remember when we used to do it more, during the daytime?
I do.
And I remember I would go home to my family, and we go to Red Robin, and I have to have a big cheeseburger because I have to calm down.
Right. Well, you need grounding.
Yes, grounding.
We need grounding. I mean, that's one of the reasons.
But if you eat it every day, you can't have a cheeseburger every day.
Oh, yuck. I know. But, that's why some people smoke, is to keep them grounded. That's true.
That is true.
Yeah.
So everything has to be in balance and in moderation.
Okay. Right.
All right. So how do you raise your vibration?
Exactly. Let's go there because, here I am. I'm meditating. I'm being still. I'm being silent. The voices have calmed down in my mind. I'm doing my deep breathing. I'm focused perhaps on a candle flame or something that keeps me in that space and in that moment. And now it's time to raise my vibrations so that I can meet and communicate with, say, my spirit guide. How do I do that? Well, you do that. I do that by opening my chakras, and by imagining, just giving myself an internal visual image that my body and the energy field around me, that etheric body around me, is spinning faster and faster and faster. And it's in the first few times I tried it this way, and you may have an entirely different way of doing this, but the first few times I tried it, I got dizzy, and I realized I had to open my eyes. I literally had to do this initially in the dark with a candle flame so that I didn't literally lose my physical balance. But as I was able to work with that more and more and to realize that I could just envision the molecular structure of that etheric body around me moving faster and faster and faster, then I could breathe into that, and the sense of raising my vibrations didn't have to be quite so almost physically dramatic. But that was the initial way I learned to do that. How about you?
That's how I learned to do it, too. I still do it that way, and I still feel the dizziness, but I kind of feel like that's my sign that it's working. So I do enjoy that. And I think that in general it comes back to what I said before, which is surrender and forgiveness, working on letting things slide off your back. I think those are the keys to raising your vibrations. I think we have to keep a limit on the negative television and radio input we allow ourselves to listen to. I think we have to put blocks up on the amounts of gossip and judgmental criticisms that we'll tolerate. Because I think pulling yourself out of that will raise your vibration significantly. I'm a big advocate of wearing a crystal every day.
Me too.
I think crystals can do amazing things to raise your vibrations. They don't work instantly, so don't expect to put a crystal on and suddenly feel popped open. they take time to jive, and that's a good word, isn't it? They take time to align with your vibration.
Yeah.
But they do, and they do subtly work, but they do definitely work to increase your vibration. So I would definitely recommend putting them around your home and wearing one every day. I think it's important as well to practice random acts of kindness. That will raise your vibration.
Mm-hmm. You know, we're dancing all around the real key here, and the real key to raising your vibrations is love.
Yeah. Yes, it is self-love and true love, but it's love in many different forms.
Right.
You know, for example, I've noticed recently my kids are all into wishes and fairies and all of that stuff, you know, because they're so young. So anytime an eyelash falls off, you know, they have to make a wish on it. Anytime we see the first star, we have to say starlight, starbright. And what I've discovered in the last several years...
I still do that.
Do you?
Yeah.
I don't have anything to wish for.
Oh.
Because I truly have surrendered.
Oh.
So every time my kids are like, Mommy, make a wish, throw the penny down, I just wish for peace. Whereas before, I wish this happens. I wish by 2000 I get A, B, and C. You know, I mean, I really would wish for things. And now I just feel so comfortable that, you know, what happened, que sera, sera, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's part of raising your vibrations, trust. And really, if you think about love, what is it? It is trust.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. So, someone asked a good question.
I know, I'm writing. I'm
disappear?
Yeah.
It means that the crystal has done its job for you and has left.
Right.
Gone to someone else.
That's exactly what I was typing as you're talking.
Good. I have had 3 instances in my life that luckily my husband has witnessed, or else I would think I was crazy, where crystals have appeared.
Mm-hmm.
I've just woken up and there's been a new crystal on my bedside table.
Mm-hmm.
Such a gift.
Mm-hmm.
So crystals will appear to you and they will leave you, and you just have to accept it and, again, go with the flow. I know I've told this story, but I'll fit it in very quickly about that crystal I had that I coveted, the Sugarlight.
Yeah, I remember.
And I kept feeling like this client needed it, and I was like, I'm not giving up my Sugarlight, and I lost it.
Yep.
So you've got to let them come and you've got to let them go.
I had a client last week who's someone had given her a beautiful tiger's eye, and she was clutching it in her hand. She brought it to show it to me, and she said, I'm going to keep this forever. And I laughed. And she said, why is that funny? And I said, maybe. But it may be that you're meant to pass that crystal on to someone else.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't know yet. And I said, you know, we're sometimes we're just a conduit for these stones, and that they come to us so that we can pass them on to someone who needs them more.
And someone else also asked, I've heard that art is supposed to help, and also taking relaxing baths, and those two are very important things, and meditating on the Bible or other works. Those are great questions. Yes, contemplating amazing and beautiful and uplifting art, listening to peaceful and wonderful music in your home, taking sea salt or Epsom salt baths at least once a week, I think is key to raising your vibration.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Meditating on an uplifting work of faith, I think, is perfect to raise your vibration.
Absolutely. And literally surrounding yourself and your home, that meditation that you did tonight, the meditation that we normally do every week that talks about encasing the whole earth in a bubble of loving white light is a wonderful way of raising the vibration, your own vibrations and the vibration of the whole planet.
Yes, and also I think it's important to work on just keeping your physical self, you know, free of clutter. I know I always am harping on that, but it's important to really keep your home clean and clear. And if you're having a hard time with surrender in your emotional life, work on surrender in your physical life. Try to let go of things.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean by that?
Yes, say some more about that, and I'll come right back to you answering the question.
Okay, sorry. Well, for example, I remember when my mother-in-law passed, she hadn't held on to a lot. What she had held on to were her relationships. And I remember when my sister-in-law was going through her things, she said, gosh, you know, Mom just didn't keep a lot. She didn't keep her wedding dress. She didn't, you know, there's so many things. And I just think that's wonderful. I really do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She gave everything away. She gave her heart away. She gave her love away. And she gave her things away. She didn't hold on to anything. Whereas I remember when I bought my first house, my mom rang the doorbell with I think 10 or 11 or 12 huge Rubbermaid bins. And she goes, "Here, now that you have your own house, you can have these." And I said, "What are these?" She had kept literally every piece of paper I'd ever written my name to.
Oh, golly.
All my high school papers, my kindergarten artwork, all my report cards,
oh, yeah,
everything.
my folks had mine, too.
And they're sitting in my attic, and I'm like, what? I just need to throw these away. So I think it's important to not, you have to hold on to some stuff because I think it helps future generations to remember who you are and who they are and where they came from. But a lot of the other stuff we can just let go. So practice physically donating some good things around your life and passing some things on. Now, with the Epsom salt bath, I do want to say there's different things you can do. You can do 1 cup of Epsom salts and 1 cup of sea salt. You can do 2 cups. I've read recipes that are 2 cups of baking soda and a cup of sea salt. So kind of, practice, explore, see what works for you. I always add lavender and sage oil to my bath as well. And I think it's important that while you're bathing that you imagine, because what the Epsom, athletes soak in Epsom salts because it literally does pull physical pain from your body, but it will pull metaphysical negativity from your body as well. And so you can imagine that leaving you.
I think that's really important to do. Just get rid of all any negativity on your body, in your house, around yourself. I think it's really important to do that because there's no room for you to vibrate if you're living in such clutter and chaos.
That's right. And the other thing to do, if you are consciously saying, okay, I'm going to raise my vibrations, I'm going to lift myself to the next level of development in my life, I think it's important to note that your guides will notice that. And they'll say, oh, everybody, get ready, she's ready. And they'll start putting people in your life, books in your life, classes in your life that you need to teach you how to do these we're talking about big spiritual steps here, surrender, trust, forgiveness. These aren't easy things you do in one day.
No, they're not. It's a process. And when your vibrations begin to raise, when you are living in that place of clarity and gentleness and gosh, let me make it clear, we don't all live there all the time. I don't, Samantha doesn't, we just don't. But when you are there, you know the difference.
Yes.
You are aware of it. You know that you are connected to a higher source.
That's right. And that's very, very, very comforting. And you have to be patient with yourself because some of us are slow learners. Some of us learn these things quickly and we move on, but some of us are slow learners. And you need to be patient with yourself if this doesn't come easily to you, if it takes time.
Right.
I was thinking about that with the class, an English class I was teaching, and I was just simply trying to get across the concept of the 6 major uses of the comma. And I'm not kidding. There are 20 students in the class, and they're all nodding like, yeah, we know this. And there are 3 going, what's a run-on? I was like, oh, no. And I went over it again and again and again. The 17 students got it like that, but there were 3 who didn't. And I just think it's a metaphor for life. Some of us, takes a little bit longer.
Right, exactly.
Someone put in the chat room, chocolate helps me. Amen, Veronica. Chocolate helps everything.
You bet it does. I had a cup of cocoa before we started the show.
And another thing to raise your vibration is to make sure that every day, or at least every week, you have something to look forward to in your life.
And to laugh about.
Laughter's key.
Oh, indeed.
Every day that I wake up, I have something I look forward to, whether it's finishing the day and climbing into bed with a good book, or whether it's meeting a friend I haven't seen in a while for lunch. But every day try to have something that you are hopeful and excited about.
Right. And gratitude. Gratitude will raise your vibrations tremendously. So again, and we've said this before, just periodically during your day, say thank you. I have a song that I play, and I try to remember to play it in the mornings as I'm getting dressed. I don't always get to it. The artist's name is Karen Drucker. I just love this woman, Karen Drucker. And the name of the song, I think, is Thank You for This Day. And it's just a beautiful song about the day being a healing day, and that it's going to be a lovely day. And that helps a whole lot. So music and laughter, those things really do raise your vibrations. I mean, think about it this way. If we're doing this work and we're trying to communicate with our guides or our loved ones on the other side, they don't necessarily want to talk to us if we are Miss Doom and Gloom.
Right.
They don't.
Right.
They need cheering and laughter and joy as well. And so when you approach it from that this work from that joyful place, they respond to that just like people on this side do. I mean, if you smile at me, I will understand, because that's in every language, say Crosby, Stills, and Nash. And it's true.
Yeah, it is. It is very, very true.
Mm-hmm.
So you can definitely increase your vibration. You can do it physically, you can do it mentally, and spiritually.
Yes.
But you have to tackle it from all three sides. You can't just think you can become a vegan and suddenly you're this amazingly wonderful healing person. I think one of the things that shocked me the most when I really entered this metaphysical world full time was how few metaphysical people are truly on the path.
Mm-hmm.
I know you and I have discussed that, and how so many people have wrong ideas about it. I remember when I used to work at a little metaphysical store and doing readings, the bizarre competition that went on there freaked me out. We're all here to help people. What is there to be competitive over? And I remember one of the big topics of conversation among the other readers was that Samantha drank Diet Coke.
Bad girl, bad.
And they used to always say, "How can you do a reading and drink Diet Coke?" And I would think, I never understood that. Caffeine's not going to keep me from that.
No, it's not. Veronica has written in the chat room, ask your guides and ascended masters to help you raise your vibrations. Ask them to help you. Mm-hmm. Great point. Thank you for that. And when we're in that state of not having our vibrations raised, she points out, it's harder to hear them. And again, that's true too. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And somebody has written, I try to meditate and work on my chakras and I fall asleep. I understand.
That's good, though. That's good.
Well.
No, really. It means she's on the right path, I think. Because that hasn't happened to me for about a year.
Well, and it still happens to me periodically. Mm-hmm. On the night of the full moon, which in my belief is a big night, and it's a busy night around here, and I'm often doing ritual and whatnot. I had done some things that were a part of my normal process, and then I lit some candles, and I laid down on the sofa, which was, I know better than to try to lay down and meditate. Who does I think I was fooling, right? Yeah, well, I woke up an hour and a half later when the telephone rang. So, yes.
I believe that we continue to work on it even when we're sleeping.
I think we do, too, but, it's not nearly as much fun as it is to do it consciously and with intent.
No, but just keep at it. You'll get there. That happens. It's just it means that your body's responding and it needs the relaxation.
Absolutely. And yes, you're right. We do get messages in our dreams. So,
can we shift to some email questions?
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say about vibrations?
No, I think this is good. It's certainly getting people. Well, just one thing.
Yes.
Do we have any books we want to recommend?
I think any books on. I've read so many books on psychic protection, and I've loved them all. So I think books on psychic protection will help. Judith Orloff's books on energy vampires are excellent as well. She gives you a lot of tips for getting negativity out of your life.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
No, I think that's great.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just a big fan of reading anything that's spiritually uplifting.
Right, me too.
That reminds you of the bigger picture here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, so I got 2 email questions. Well, actually, one was on Facebook and one was an email that I wanted to address. We might just have time for one. I don't know.
Okay,
but Juliana, our lovely listener, asked on Facebook about tarot cards and how you read face up and reversed, and I only read face up. And I thought that would be a great thing to talk about because that is such a contentious issue. And so I told her that I do not read reversed, and I don't recommend that for everyone. That that's just the way I do it. The reason why I don't read reverse tarot is because I don't feel like I'm a tarot reader. I feel like I use the tarot simply to allow my intuition to speak to me. So for me, the cards are different with each reading. I just let them. If any of you have ever been to me for a reading, you know that one of the things that I do is I write your name over and over and over and over and over again. And the reason why I do that is, A, it helps me tune into the energy, the vibration of your name, but also it helps to distract me from me. And the tarot does that as well, so that it helps me to tune out what my ego is saying, what myself is saying, and just allows my guides to come through and your guides to come through. And so that's why I don't bother with the reversed, because I really don't use the tarot. I use them more to validate my insecurities. Did I get this message right? Because people come to us with major questions.
Indeed, life
very
issues.
scary. Isn't
it's a huge responsibility. The work we do.
Should I leave my husband? Or the one we had this week, was my mother murdered? I mean, good God. And it can be scary to think, am I getting this right? And so I love to use the tarot to help validate that, yes, I am getting that right. So that's why I don't read them reversed. And so I thought it might be nice if you tell people the benefits of reading reversed.
Absolutely, because I do use them. In the traditional true tarot, there are 78 cards. Each of those cards, in the way that I work, has a meaning if the card appears in a reading right side up. It has a meaning if it's reversed. It also has a meaning in conjunction to its placement in the spread when I lay the cards out. So for me to not consider because I don't believe it's random. I believe the cards appear on the board in front of me for a reading, for a message that I need to give to the querent. And so for me, to ignore or not use that reversed message is to negate half of the possibilities of the deck. So for me, it gives a great deal of much more richness in the information that is coming to me. And a lot of times folks think, and if you work with tarot, you know this isn't true, that when a card is reversed, it means the exact opposite of what it would mean if it was right side up. That isn't true with all cards. Some cards it's degrees. It's degrees of the same issue. So it really comes in knowing those cards and knowing the richness of the meanings. Both everything has light and dark, negative and positive. I don't like to use the term good and bad, but everything, yes, it all has that balance of a continuum of information, and I like to have the richness of that continuum.
Do you like the way John Edward teaches people to study tarot? He says that you should buy a journal and buy 2 decks of the same.
I've had students who've done that. When I teach tarot classes, I've actually had students who've done it that way. And I think that's a real helpful thing for some people to do. I think that for me, when I teach tarot classes, I like for folks to really spend a lot of time. Oh, golly, we're about out of time. Looking at the symbols that are there on the cards and learn those first, and then to begin to work into intuiting the nuances of those cards and how you personally might build a relationship.
And pulling it all together, yes.
Absolutely.
The other email question that we had was about, are we going to be offering our psychic development class telecourse again? So I'd love it if you guys could just pop us an email or jot it down on Facebook, which courses you are interested in Deb and I teaching, so that we know how best to get this information out to you in a more concentrated medium.
Right, exactly. So we're
going to be talking about tarot cards and different reading spreads.
Yes,
so
we are.
Tune in with your cards next week.
That's right. That's what we're going to talk about next week. So thank you all so very much for listening. We appreciate you being with us. We hope you'll join us next week. We are the Psychic Teachers, and we hope that you have a blessed week.
Take care, everyone. Thank you so much for listening.
Okay, good night, all.
Bye.
Bye-bye.